Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to my video. So I'm going to be doing this video, and we're going to be doing more tips on how to find what's causing your PCM, ECU, ECM fuse to blow. All right, because it's not clear and cut. All right, if you guys have ECM issues with the fuse and it keeps on blowing every time you change it up, and you guys are trying to find a specific place to start as far as looking for what is blowing the fuse, it's not as simple and clear cut as other issues with your car. Like if you have a no start issue, there is essentially a couple of places that you know, or a couple of signs that could tell you where to go as far as the troubleshooting is concerned. However, with the ECM, as you guys know, the ECM is the car's computer. It is hooked up to essentially every single sensor in the vehicle, which is not just the sensors, but other mechanical parts like the fuel pump, the starter, alternator, the O2 sensors, mass airflow sensors, crankshaft position sensors, camshaft position sensors, like virtually everything that the PCM could possibly control is connected to it. As a result, there are lines going from that fuse to like every single electronic thing that the ECM can control. So I just want to give you guys a little brief schematic of what the situation is that this troubleshooting process entails. All right. So it's not clear cut. However, there are things that you guys could look out for as far as trying to figure out what's causing it to blow. So essentially, all right, what's causing it to blow is a short somewhere. It's a short somewhere. It could be it's most probably a wire that is either cut or have the lining deteriorated or removed to the point, or it deteriorated to the point where the wire is showing, and that wire is either being in contact with the positive and negative of the other wire, or it's either in contact with a metal portion of the frame, which is the ground. All right, so this whole entire situation of why your PCM fuse blows is because there is a short somewhere, and that short could be inside the fuel pump, where the plug connects to the motor inside the fuel pump inside the gas tank, or it could be a wire where the skin of the wire is deteriorated off, and it's the metal part of the wire is making contact with the metal frame of the car. So essentially, that's what you're looking for. All right, you guys want to start out with all this. You guys are looking for that specifically. That's specifically where you're looking for. All right. However, that's like throughout the whole entire car. Like all these sensors are throughout the whole entire car. All right, some of the starter, the alternator, the mass airflow sensor, they're under the hood, the O2 sensors under the car. It's all over the place. So you're gonna have to do a lot of troubleshooting. All right, you're gonna try to see if there's any codes. All right, obviously a shorting of the O2 sensor will probably generate a code. See if there's a code for that. All right, that's the first step you're going to do, is try to figure out whether there's a code for any of this stuff. So if there's a code for any of this stuff, what you're going to do is you're going to have to check the wires. Check the wires to see if there's if anything is burnt. If you see anything burnt, if you smell anything that's burnt, if you see any part of the wire where the skin of the wire has been deteriorated off, and it's hitting the frame of the car, or it's creating sparks, or smoking, etc., etc. That's another thing. If you see any kind of, if you smell any kind of smoke, see any kind of smoke, because what a short will cause that. All right, but unfortunately, or fortunately or unfortunately, it's hooked up to the fuse, and whatever short's going to occur, it's going to be literally it's going to be a short period of time, like a second. Like once you put the fuse in, it's just going to blow. And for the most part, that smell is probably going to be coming from the fuse for the most part. But I just want to, if you guys are looking for different, where to start as far as the short is concerned, here's what you look for. As far as the ECM fuse is concerned, yeah, that's what you're gonna look for. All right, you're probably gonna start out with an OBD2 reader, scan it, see if any code comes up. All right, if any codes come up for whatever, the mass airflow sensor, the crankshaft, the camshaft, whatever, okay, that's where you're gonna look first. That's where you're gonna look first, because if it's generating a code, it could mean that those parts are malfunctioning, and it could mean that those parts are malfunctioning because there is a electrical issue there. So you're gonna look at those things first. All right. And second thing you're gonna do, if you guys can't actually find out if these parts that generates the code, if the wires are good and you can't actually see any kind of deterioration in the wire where it's actually making contact with the ground, everything checks out, well, next thing you're going to do is you're going to check the mass airflow sensor, the wires for the mass airflow sensor, the plug for the mass airflow sensor, the wires and plugs for the starter, the wires and plugs for the camshaft, crankshaft, the wires and the plugs for the air temperature sensor, to the alternator also. You're gonna look at under the hood, because that's the least amount of work that you got to do. At that point, you don't want to just jump straight into like tearing out the fuel pump just to make sure that the fuel pump is not causing the issue. So you're gonna troubleshoot what you can see first. All right, I've seen these situations where the mass airflow sensor, which you guys, it's right under the hood for the most part, is right next to the it's right next to the air intake. You could look at that, look at the wires, look at the plug, make sure that it's not burnt, make sure that the wires, the skin of the wires is good. It's make sure that no part of the wire has the skin deteriorate to the point where where the wire itself is showing or it's making contact with a bracket or ground, etc., etc. Okay, so that's what you got to look for. Is essentially this whole entire blowing up the fuse is caused by a wire making contact with the ground of the frame of the car. That's essentially what you're looking for. All right, obviously, if you don't want to obviously you want to start with the easiest thing, which is all the components under the hood. All right, and then if then you move on to the O2 sensors, which is under the car. Just look around, make sure the wires are good. As far as the fuel pump is concerned, a lot of times the blowing of the PCM fuse is caused by the fuel pump, a faulty fuel pump. However, that is essentially the case with some makes and models where the fuel pump have issues, and that's not something that's common to all makes and models. All right, as far as the fuel pump is concerned, here's the test for that. All right, if you guys keep on putting in the fuse, changing up the PCM fuse, it keeps on blowing as soon as you make contact. Unplug the fuel pump plug, unplug it, and then put in the fuse. See if it blows. Okay. Now, if it doesn't blow, then you know it's the fuel pump. All right. At that point, plug the plug back into the fuel pump. If it blows, at that point, you know 100% that it's the fuel pump or the wiring that's connected to the fuel pump. All right. That's an easy test. All right. You want to check the wiring on the plug on the fuel pump. Make sure that it's not the skin of it is still there, and the wire is not sticking out where it's hitting any portion of the vehicle, because that will cause a short circuit, and that will blow your fuse. All right, I mean, that's the test for it. Obviously, this situation is kind of complicated, and some cars have wiring issues. Some cars have wiring issues that's specific to certain models and makes. You guys want to look that up to see which models and makes have certain issues with the ECM or ECU, PCM, ECM, PCM fuse being blown, because the wiring on all these specific models and cars are pretty much the same. All right, they're pretty much the same. The schematics of the wiring are essentially the same. So you might want to look it up on Google, see if anybody has any other issues with the PCM fuse blowing, and you know, they might help you figure out what specifically would cause your specific make and model to have this issue, which could save you so much time on this problem, because it's not the easiest thing to troubleshoot because of the amount of wiring, because of the amount of electronics in the car, as far as being connected to that fuse and being connected to the ECM itself. Anyway, I hope this has helped you guys out with any kind of issues that you guys have with your PCM fuse constantly blowing. And you know, if you guys have your own personal experiences with this, definitely leave a comment in the comment section. It might help other people out. All right, so in any case, please give me a thumbs up, please subscribe, all that good stuff. Right, guys, take care.